Good morning, and I'm delighted to see so many of you this morning, thousands it seems. And I'm uh, I'm going to focus today on uh, joint freeing exercises. Also, I'm going to focus on restorative yoga. We all need to be restored. These are hard times for many people, especially for my aged body. All right. So I'm going to get a couple of bolsters, but you may have cushions. You don't have to have bolsters. I didn't have bolsters till about 40 years after I started yoga. And someone gave me this years ago at a Buddhist retreat. So I sometimes sit on it. I've got a blanket, I've got another blanket, and I've got some blocks, and I've got a strap just in case. And I've got something for my eyes. You can put it washcloth, or so you can have towels or blankets or books or whatever you have on hand. And I'm just going to invite us to sit for a moment here um, in restorative rest. So, restorative rest is a very good posture for beginning because you can really moderate your breath. So, I'm putting my feet on the ground here, and I'm going to tie. I'm not going to do this, but you can do this if you like. This will help you control so you don't have to do too much with your legs. So you just put a strap around your thighs, your near just above your knees, and then you can sit back with your feet flat on the ground and stretch out here. And you can put your hands flat on beside you. I seem to have made a big mess of all my things here, but you put your hands out with your palms up and find a very neutral spine. So you can tip your tailbone up and then you can lower it down and find a way to locate your your back body on the ground so it's not tilting in one direction or another, and you're just deeply relaxing here. Now, I'm going to invite you. I'm going to sit up, but you can stay down there. Just to put your hands on your lower ribs, uh, even on the side of your lower ribs, and I want you to inhale deeply into that space. So we're inhaling deeply into that space, and we're inhaling all the way up to the throat. So we're filling up a glass of water, starting at the bottom and filling it up. And then we're exhaling from the top down. We're inhaling from the bottom up, and we're exhaling from the top down. Now, I should say that if you are having difficulty with, say, your hips, you could just sit in a chair. There's no reason you have to get up and down on the floor if it's uncomfortable. So I'm going to invite you just to inhale and exhale deeply. Inhale and exhale deeply. Inhale and exhale. And you might even try counting. So you're inhaling to 4 and you're holding for 4. And then you're exhaling. If that's too much, you just establish your own even breath. But you might try holding just to give your body time to breathe deeply. So restorative yoga is intended to restore you. It's that um, wonderful congruence between the name and the practice. And I really like restorative yoga because it does make me feel uh, deeply relaxed. And I know that I have all these apps now. My brother is concerned about my sleep, so he's sent me all these apps that monitor my sleep, and they're always saying, "Oh, you're so stressed out and you're not sleeping well." And I think, well, I am deeply relaxing though when I'm in restorative yoga, and that must compensate in some way. So just keep breathing. And we're just going to begin here just to get a bit of a baseline, just to help us to initiate the class with a good breath. If you like, you can bring your hands up and put your fingers, your thumbs in your armpits, and put your hands on your upper chest. And that will help you monitor the breath in your upper chest. You can breathe deeply into your upper chest, and then you can slide your hands down and breathe deeply into your lower chest. Good. And I have a reading which has disappeared for the moment. Oh, here it is. Yes, here's my reading. This is from Thich Nhat Hanh from his book, Breathe, You Are Alive, Sutra on the Full Awareness of Breathings. And he writes, breathing is a means of awakening and maintaining full attention in order to look carefully, long, and deeply, see the nature of all things, and arrive at liberation. So there's a lot of ambition in our breath this morning. So the Sutra on the Full Awareness of Breathing is the Buddha's way to help us remember to breathe and to enjoy our breath. When you breathe in slowly, mindfully, you can enjoy your in-breath. Just breathing in can make you very happy. Allow yourself to be happy while breathing in. So that is my introductory message to you. Allow yourself to be happy in our class. And we can breathe in. There is only the breathing. There is only the walking. There is no breather. There is no walker. Peace while breathing. Peace while walking. Peace is the breathing. Peace is the walking. So you can remember that when you're out on your walk today. All right. So I'll invite you now to roll over onto your side and to sit up and just find your way to a seating position. Now, you can sit on a chair or you can sit on the floor. You could sit on some blankets, or I've got this very old beanbaggy meditation cushion that I'm going to sit on. And I'm better push this back a little bit. There you go. And I'm going to just stick my feet out here so you can see my feet. And I'm going to start with the soles of our feet and just press out through my my toe pads and my heels so that they are arched. You can see I have an arch. I have a better arch on one foot than the other. And I'm going to just take my toes wide here. And I'm going to wiggle my toes. Always fun. They're such knobbly, strange things like underwater creatures. And I'm stretching my toes out, and then I'm going to point my toes. And then I'm going to bring my heels back, my toes back, and then point out, really point hard through the toe pads, and then the toes. So we're pushing out through the toe pads and then the toes. We're really working on our arches here. And now we're going to rotate our ankles just to keep us happy here. Rotating one way and then the other. And then we're going to scrunch our toes and point our toes. And this is where it can get quite crampy. If you have cramps, you can use your toes to uncramp your feet, or you can just reach down and uncramp them. So for old toes, cramps are the way of life, it seems. Okay. Now I'm going to do some dorsiflexion. I think this is dorsiflexion, which is I'm going to turn the soles of my feet towards each other here. So and I can even clap my toes together. Let's do that. So we know that they're together. And then I'm going to turn the soles of my feet away from each other. And then I'm going to move back and forth. So towards each other and then back the other way. Towards each other and back the other way. Good. Good. Here we go. All right. Now, let's just lift our knee up here, and we can embrace it here. And we can just extend our knee out. Let's just flap our knee in the wind here. Or maybe it's like a rudder of a boat, I think, in the water. Imagine that you're moving through water. There you go. Good. All right. And then we're going to extend that leg out. And we're going to do the same thing with our knee. Just give it a little rudderless movement here. Good. And you can just rotate it around if you like. Rotate your knee around one way and around the other. Good. And we'll stretch that out. And we didn't do the rolling around on the other side. There you go. All right. You could also do this laying down if you like. Okay. Now, so we've done the knees, we've done the ankles, we've done the toes. And we're going to work on the hands now. So just put your hands together and press in with the palms of your hands. And then press up. And then turn your palms out and press out. So you're stretching your hands out, the palms of your hands out. And then you're pressing the tops of your hands out. So your fingers are pointing towards the floor. Good. And up and then down. And up and down. Up and down. Good. Up and down. And we're going to rotate our hands around one way and then the other way. Good. And we're going to take our hands and push on them this way, so that we are actually stretching the top part of our hand here. And then we're going to push on it this way with our fingers, stretching back here. And then we're going to push on our thumb, just to stretch our thumb a little bit. And then we're going to push this way with our thumb. Now, if you have arthritic hands like I do, there might be a little bit of pain, but there shouldn't be too much pain. So you don't want to overdo it. But it's nice to have a little bit of stretch here. And now I'm just going to flick my fingers. I'm going to enclose my thumb and flick my fingers out. So I'm just doing the one hand here. So I'm going to do this 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I'm going to shake that hand out. And now I'm going to shake the wrist around, and I'm going to shake the elbow around, and I'm going to turn the elbow this way. Now, if you have trouble with your elbows, don't do this. And then I'm going to take my arm and I'm going to just move that beautiful arm around. Look at how it moves like a wing. It doesn't quite fly, but it could, I'm sure. All right, here we go. And around the other way. And my shoulders are sore this morning, but I'm just going to give it some lubrication here. All right, I'm going to take that arm and I'm going to just wrap it right around to the other shoulder and hold on to the shoulder and just give it a nice stretch that way. And I'm going to open that arm out and I'm going to wrap it around that shoulder. Good. And I'm going to open it out and I'm going to wrap it up and around, and I'm going to wrap it around my ear. And then I'm going to open it out, wrap it around my ear and open it out. Okay. And I'm going to drop that down. And I'm going to just take this shoulder. We're just doing one shoulder at a time, just to see what it is like to be asymmetrical, and see what the good work that we do when we are doing joint freeing exercises here. There we go. Now, so let's just sit here for a minute and see, how do I feel? Oh, I feel this arm feels quite loose, actually. All right, so let's try this hand now. Let's do pushing out and then pushing this way, pushing out and pushing this way, pushing out and pushing this way. And then we're going to bring it in and we're going to do some wrist turning the other way. And then we're going to woman handle our hands or man handle our hands. We're going to push back with our fingers, and we're going to fold our fingers forward. We're going to push back with our thumb, fold it forward. And now we can actually knead in between our thumb and our finger. That's always a very tender spot for us keyboard warriors. And I'm going to pull that thumb out. I'm going to pull the fingers out. There we go. I'm going to pull the fingers out on the other side because I did not do that. And I'm going to massage that little nibbly spot. Good. And once again, I'm going to clench clasp my hands and move them up to the top here. Okay, good. And here I'm going to do some spirals with this hand because we didn't do it the last time. Here's the other way. And then we're going to do this over to the ear. It's a version of hear no evil. We have our own ear flap here. And now I'm going to do the embrace, the half-hearted embrace here with the left hand. There we go. Good. All right. And now we're going to do some shoulder exercises here that are just lifting up. They're pretty standard. And then bringing our shoulders back and bringing them down and forward and bringing them up and bringing them down. And okay, good. And now we're going to go to the backwards, up and down. Good. And we're going to do a little bit of seesawing here. So I'm just going to go back and forth here, just with our arms up, rowing is as though we are a boat being tossed and turned in a beautiful ocean of waves. I can feel them. I can feel the tide coming in, moving my body with such a beautiful rhythm. There we go. Good. And we'll roll our shoulders back again. And we're going to work on our neck. Now, if you have difficulty with your neck, you decide what to do. This is your body. So I don't want to harm you in any way, but sometimes people have bad necks and you don't want to irritate them. I myself need to have a little movement in my neck. So I'm just going to drop my right ear to my right shoulder and look like I am curious about something. And then the other way, I'm curious about something else. And now I'm really curious. I'm curiouser and curiouser, as Alice in Wonderland might say. There we go. Back and forth. Good. And now I'm going to look towards the right. And then I'm going to look towards the left. Someone's calling me. Hello. And then the left and the right and the left. Now I am going to look up and then I'm going to look down. Up and down. Up and down. Now I'm going to do this diagonal thing, which I quite like. So I can't remember who taught me this, but you take the sort of the side of your neck and you you pretend your eyes are in the side of your neck and you look up with that, and then you turn your head slightly. So your head is a little bit on the diagonal, but it does some very good things to the tendons on the side of your neck, I've found. And then you can come back. And then we'll try the other side. So you look up with the side of your neck, and then you turn your head slightly just to look towards the ceiling. So you've got a nice little twist there. And then you come back. So we can do that a few times here. I'm just curious with the side of my neck. The side of my neck has a mind of its own. And okay, good. Now I'm going to just look up to the side and then down towards my lap and then up towards the other side and then down this way. Good, good. All right. Now, I think we might, now if you are wanting to stay seated, you go right ahead. And I'm going to just invite us to do a Dandasana posture, which is a seated pose. And you just put your knees out, your legs out. And I'm going to use a bolster here, but you can use anything else. I'm just going to drop my head down between I've got the bolster in the bottom of my feet there, and I'm dropping my head down just to relax here. I'm just really, it's a very high Dandasana. There's no pressure anywhere. Or if you don't want to do that, you can pile up blankets here, or cushions, or blocks, or a combination of that. And you can just fold over. And here I'm going to just fold over and relax. So some version of that where you are having some support, because the object of this is not really so much stretching as it is relaxation. Now, as you do that, I'm going to find my counter so that I can time us. So we can stay in these poses for a few minutes. So you want to feel very comfortable. And while you're in this pose, I will invite you to breathe. And we will go back to our Buddha breathing. The Buddha is breathing. The Buddha is walking. I enjoy the breathing. I enjoy the walking. So we can imagine that we are walking. The Buddha is the breathing. The Buddha is the walking. I am the breathing. I am the walking. There is only the breathing. There is only the walking. There is no breather. There is no walker. Peace while breathing. Peace while walking. Peace is the breathing. Peace is the walking. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. Breathing in a long breath. I know I am breathing in a long breath. Breathing out a long breath. I know I am breathing out a long breath. Breathing in a short breath. I know I am breathing in a short breath. Breathing in a short breath. Breathing out a short breath. I know I am breathing out a short breath. Breathing in, I am aware of my whole body. Breathing out, I am aware of my whole body. All right, now you can come up And we're going to find another beautiful posture. We might as well, so you can work on having you can do a lot of this actually sitting in a chair. I've done some chair yoga recently, and it's really interesting what you can do. So you can, when it's a lot of awareness when you're sitting in a chair. So you have a lot of awareness with your feet on the ground, your thighs on the chair, etc. And I'm just going to, since some of us are sitting on the floor, uh, I'm going to invite those of you in a chair just to be fully aware of your feet and your thighs. And here I am just have my knees raised, and I'm just going to turn. I'm putting my right hand on the outside of my left knee thigh, and I'm just turning here. And I'm just going to rest here for a moment. And while I'm doing this, I am thinking about my breath. I am thinking about breathing in. And even more than that, I am breathing in. I'm not just thinking about it. And the breath opens up the spaces between my ribs that are open here. And this is just a little twist, just to give us a twist in the midst of our poses. And now I'm going to come back and move to the other side and just feel that opening of a twist here. I'm using my extended arm against my leg to give me a little bit of a twist. You can also face a wall here and put your hands, sit beside a wall and put your hands on the wall. And this really affords you a lovely twist. All right, so now we're going to come back, and I'm just wiggling. I wiggle a lot. This is my claim to yoga fame is I wiggle a lot. But my friend Marianne affirms that this does good things and it rearranges all my molecules in good ways. All right. So let's try cobbler. Now, if you were on the floor and you have a strap, you have a long strap, you can do this. If you don't, you can just do a variation of this, but I'll show you the full posture here. And what I have here is I've got I'm taking my Buddha beanie bag out, and I'm putting this back here, and I'll do it this way so you can see me. I've just got too many things here. All right, I've got a dog toy. All right, there you go. So I'm putting this back here. I'm going to put a blanket, just not a very heavy blanket, just to put my head on here. And I'm going to move this here and put my feet together. My sacrum is against the bolster, or you can use cushions or pillows here. And I'm just going to move back and put my head on the blanket. So, and the object of this is you want your forehead slightly higher than your chin. So, and I just have my arms out like this. Now, the full expression of this restorative posture is you put this around your waist, the belt, it has to be quite long, and then you put it around your feet. How do you do this? Oh my God, I can't remember how to do this. Oh, I think it's like this. Okay. You put it around your feet. There we go. So that it actually holds your feet together slightly and gives you a sense of support here. So I've got my belt around my waist and then around my feet, the tops of my feet. And then I can just lay back. Now, if you find it too difficult in terms of your groin, all you need to do is put a block here at whatever height you need it, or a blanket, or whatever, or another bolster, or a foamy on its side. Some of you, it just depends on how your legs are. So you don't want to be straining too much in this posture. You want to feel that you can open up here. So it is if you don't have any support and your legs are lifted off, it is a nice groin opening posture while you are in this deep relaxation. But I am just really enjoying this. There's another alternative you can do where you can lift your bolster up with blocks, so that there's an angle, so that you're actually sitting at an angle, and that also provides a lovely opening, and it provides a little bit more of an opening in your shoulder. But I'm just going to just lay on the floor here for a moment. So I'll set the timer for 4 minutes, and we'll see how we do. Now, one of the objects in the morning, if you've just gotten out of bed and it's, just post dawn, one of the objects is not to fall back to sleep. So you want to keep your focus on your breath. And while you're in this pose, I will read you a beautiful poem by P.K. Page. I love her. I did my PhD work on her, she was one of the poets I wrote on, and I just love her work. Anyway, she died not that long ago. She lived to be, I think, 94. And she lived in Victoria much of her life. And this is the dwelling place. And I like this because she's no sentimentalist. And why I find some popular psychology a bit facile. And she is anything but facile. She's also Sufi. She practiced Sufi meditation and learning Persian religion, quite fascinating. And her work is infused, I think, with just a different way of looking at the world. Here's dwelling place. This habitation, bones and flesh and skin, where I reside, proceeds through sun and rain, a mobile home with windows and a door and pistons plunging like a soft machine. Conforming as a bus, its metal is more sensitive than chrome or brass. It knows a pebble in its shoe, or heat or cold. I scrutinize it through some aperture that gives me God's view. See it twist and change. It sleeps, it weeps, its poor heart breaks. It dances like a bear. It laughs, opines, and therefore is. It has a leafy smell of being young in all the halls of heaven. It serves a term in anterooms of hell, graying and losing luster. It is dull, a lifeless, empty skin. I plot its course and watch it as it moves, a house, a bus. I, its inhabitant, indweller, I to that tiny chink where two worlds meet, or, if you so discern it, to divide. So I always find reading P.K. Page that I just let the language wash over me, and eventually the meaning comes. And I'm inviting you to breathe. Breathing in a long breath. I am the long breath. Breathing out the long breath. I am the long breath. Breathing in. Breathing out. All right. Now we can come up out of this pose and we can stretch our legs out and bring our knees in one at a time and give them a little hug. Good. And then bring both your knees in and you can just arch over your knees and hold on for dear life and just rock a little bit. Give yourself a big hug. You deserve it. We're all in this together. We all deserve a big hug. All right, good. Now I'm going to we've done a sort of slight back bend here. Now we're going to do a bit of a side bend, and this requires some cushions. And I am sitting beside my bolster here, but this could be some cushions, a few cushions or a couple of pillows. And I've got my legs at a slant here. So I'm here, my right hip is against the bolster, my right knee is projecting out, and my left knee is just hanging out over top of my left thigh is hanging out over top of my right ankle here. So they're just staggered a little bit. And what I'm going to do here is invite us to twist. So this feels really good, but it's a bit awkward to get into. So you want to have your hip against there, and then you want to twist over towards that lovely soft spot here. And you can have your arms on the ground here. And you can put something here. Now, I don't know why, but I wear lipstick every day. I have ever since I went to Paris when I was 20. And so I have to worry about getting lipstick on my bolster, but this might not be your problem. So I have to raise my forehead up so as to avoid that. Okay, here we go. Oh. So I've just got my head raised a little bit, and my arms are by the side. You can have your arms, your forearms flat, like your palms flat on the ground, or whatever feels comfortable. And I'm going to readjust, because I can readjust as I move into the posture, because my twist can deepen a little bit. Now, while I'm in this posture, I can feel the back opening up beautifully, and I can imagine the back body just feeling like it is a fan. I can imagine my ribs as a fan, opening with my breath. I'm inhaling into my back body, and I'm holding for a few moments. And then I'm exhaling. So you can inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can hold 2, 3, 4, and then you can exhale 2, 3, 4. So you decide what you want to do. And we're going to stay here. I know it seems like a long time, but this is restorative yoga, and long is better. And we're going to stay for 4 minutes. Now, if it becomes unbearable, of course, come up. I will try to entertain you. And you can just fall into a deep rest and ignore my voice. The tethers. You are my tethers. You and you and you. Beautiful, ailing, witty, or beloved. You hold my tent pole upright. Make my tent symmetrical and true. You guy ropes of a tent that would not be a tent. Think what a sail I'd make against the blue. Flying, for God's sake. What a beautiful din, the whip and rattle of my canvas wings, flapping me upward, ragged as a crane. Not as I dreamed, tent formless, beyond form, but as I never dreamed, tent shapeless, without shape. Think what a sail I'd make against the blue, flying, for God's sake. What a splendid din, the whip and rattle of my canvas wings, flapping me upward, ragged as a crane. You are my tethers, you and you and you, beautiful, ailing, witty or beloved. You hold my tent pole upright, make my tent symmetrical and true. You guy ropes of a tent that would not be a tent. All right. I'm going to invite you to you can move on to your, just into sitting or your back or whatever, but you're going to have to slither like a, um, like a graceful snake, which I am not this morning, and onto the other side. So once again, I've just got my other leg out in front and I am going to lean over that bolster again this way and turn. So this is a prone twist. I think that's what this is called in restoration yoga language. So we're twisting. Our hands are on the ground or our elbows, and we are twisting. Now, if this is too much, you can build yourself up with cushions and just do as much as you are able to. The object of this is not pain. The object of this is relaxation. So this prone twist to the other side should provide our spine with some beautiful movement. And once again, our breath is helping deepen our relaxation. And we're just inhaling and exhaling. And we're imagining we have that beautiful Buddha breath that Thich Nhat Hanh was talking about. And here we are breathing in, I feel joyful. Breathing out, I feel joyful. Breathing in, I feel joyful. Breathing out, I feel joyful. Breathing in, I feel happy. Breathing out, I feel happy. Breathing in, I feel happy. Breathing out, I feel happy. Breathing in, I calm my whole body. Breathing out, I calm my whole body. Backdrop. The Cordillera of the Rockies. Infinity, slowly spinning in the air, invisibly entered through the holes of gophers, visibly in a wigwam's amethyst smoke. Eternity implicit on the prairie, oneself the center of a boundless dome, so balanced in its horizontal plane, and sensitively tuned that one's least move could fractionally tip it north, south, east, westward in undulations of beige turf. The fugal foothills changed their rhythm, rose to break in fire and snow. My Hindu Kush. It was a landscape in which things could grow enormous, full of struts. A prairie sky builds an immense meccano, piling high, shapes its horizon levels. Breathing in, we breathe in the center of a boundless dome. We breathe out, so balanced in its horizontal plane. We breathe in, sensitively tuned that one's least move. We breathe out, could fractionally tip it north, south, east. We breathe in, westward, the fugal hills. We breathe in. It was a landscape in which things could grow enormous. We breathe out, full of struts. We breathe in, a prairie sky builds an immense meccano. We breathe out, piling high, shapes its horizon levels. All right, now we are ready to come out of that and just find ourselves in a happier place than we were at the very beginning. I think now we will just allow ourselves to sit with our feet together and do a little bit of just a forward bend here. I'm just going to fall over here, and I can in fact use a bolster again, and I can build up my support under my knees. And I'm just going to use my hands to give me a little bit of support here. Now that might not feel good. So in that case, you could extend your legs out if it doesn't feel good. And you can support yourself this way. I've got a bolster and a block, and I'm just resting here. And the object here is just a bit of a forward bend. And as time goes on, you might find you're sinking a bit lower, and you can lower the block down, or you might just feel it's just very comfortable in that top shape, and that's where you want to be. So it's just a slight forward bend, and it's a little bit of a groin opening here with your legs extended out. And we'll just stay here for a few moments while I continue my reading of the wondrous P.K. Page. Gone too soon, 94. She should have lived forever and kept on writing. Finches feeding. They fall like feathered cones from the tree above. Sumi, the painted grass where the birdseed is, skirl like a boiling pot or a shallow within a river, a bar of gravel breaking the water up. Having said that, what have I said? Not much. Neither my delight nor the length of my watching is conveyed, and nothing profound recorded. Yet these birds, as I observe them, stir such feelings up, such yearnings for weightlessness, for hollow bones, rapider heartbeat, east-west eyes, and such wonder, seemingly half-remembered as they rise spontaneously into air like feathered cones. Such yearnings for weightlessness, for hollow bones, rapider heartbeat, east-west eyes, and such wonder, seemingly half-remembered as they rise spontaneously into air like feathered cones. All right, now you can rise up and we're going to just do a bit of a Shavasana. I'm not sure how we're doing with time, but we'll have a Shavasana. However long you feel you can extend yourself. And I am going to use a bolster under my thighs here. And if you like, you can also build up your back body with some cushions. And I've got a little bit of a smaller bolster here, but I could have a cushion just to give my shoulder a little bit of an opening. And I'm going to keep my head raised, my forehead above my forehead above my there. I'm just back like this. This is, I guess I've somehow naturally gone back into cobbler's pose because I find it such a relaxing pose, but you can just be flat on the floor in Shavasana. That's fine. And I will invite you to take your well lubricated joints, your finger joints, and wiggle them a little, and wiggle your toes a little, and lift them up off the floor and then drop them down. And I want you to lift your elbows up and then drop your elbows down, and your shoulders up to your ear and then drop them down. And you can lift your knees up and drop them down. And you can turn your head from side to side carefully and scrunch up your face. Make a really mean face, like you're just so bloody mad. And then let it go. Let all those sensations go. You can wrinkle your forehead and let it go. You can grin side to side, and then you can let that go. You can let your tongue drop into your lower jaw and your lips part slightly, and just relax and feel as though someone is massaging your ears, that delicious feeling of tender touch. If that is too much for you, just imagine a little puppy is nuzzling your ears. And if that's too much, just ignore my voice. And I want you to inhale with all the breath that we have experienced, and then exhale in a big sigh. And inhale, big breath, and then exhale. Inhaling, I am inhaling. Exhaling, I am exhaling. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, out. In, out. And I'll leave you in silence for a few moments. And I'll invite you to just wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. You can roll your eyes around in your head, feel them finding a different point of view than the one you had when you began. Now you can open your eyes, stretch your toes and your hands and your fingers, your legs, and in your own time, roll onto your side and move back into your space. So one of the things I love about PK Page is she writes such beautiful stories. And I think at the end of this restorative yoga class, I feel somewhat renewed and as though my story might be a little different. And I just wanted you to hear this one beautiful part of a poem. This is called the first part. Great desire to write it all is at age, death's heavy breath, making absolute autobiography urgent. Who would think that this old hive housed such honey? So I will just leave you with that thought. Who would think that this old hive housed such honey? We're filled with possibility at any age in our life. And I will thank you for spending time restoring yourself, giving yourself the gift of yoga. And the teacher in me salutes the teacher in you. And the student in me salutes the student in you. Peace, peace, peace.
Thank you, Janice. That was lovely.
Oh, I'm so glad.